Hello everyone. Namaste and welcome back to my channel. My name is Trishala and today we're going to do another 30-minute full body yoga routine. So let's start off by resting just to make sure that you're in tune with your breathing and your body. So when you're ready, go ahead and lie on your back, allowing the soles of your feet to come together, your knees flop to the sides, closing your eyes and placing your hands either on your stomach, one above each other, or raise your hands above the head, making sure to rest your elbows on the floor. Go ahead and breathe, making sure to watch each breath as your abdomen rises and falls. Let's take this moment just to become aware of the body and the breathing, taking a couple of moments to relax before we start. Now we're going to gently fold the knees back together, keeping the soles of your feet close to the back of your thighs, and bring your hands down by the sides of your waist, maintaining your eyes closed. As you breathe in, raise your hands up above the head and let your legs flop to the sides. And as you breathe out, bring your hands back down by your waist and your knees come together. Let's do that around 7 to 10 times. Breathing in as you open up your knees, take your hands above the head, really stretch the spine. And as you breathe out, bring the knees and the hands back down together. So take this at your own pace. Remember to count the number of rounds, between 7 to 10 rounds. Breathing in deeply as you open up, allowing your chest to become active and noticing the gentle massage in the lower spine. Maybe this time you'd like to really push open your knees, bringing them closer to the floor on this side, and stretch your arm up just that little bit more. This time when you breathe out, allow your knees to come close to the chest, taking your feet off the floor. Maybe you'd like to hold your shin with each hand and just gently sway back and forth with your knees, giving your lower back a bit of a massage. Sway from side to side, keeping the eyes closed. Bring your feet back down to the floor this time and placing them really close to the back of your thighs so that you can hold your ankles. Go ahead and rub your palms, place them over your closed eyes just for a couple of seconds so that you can open up your eyes, and hold the backs of your leg around your ankles and really open up the chest, bringing the shoulder blades together and setting your hips down. As you breathe in, take your hips up, allowing your chest to come to the chin. And as you breathe out, allow your hips to come back. Keep going, breathing in, breathing out as you come down. We'll try to do this between 5 to 7 times, really ensuring that your shoulder blades are close together so that you can open up the chest as you go up, really raising your hips high enough such that your thighs are parallel to the ground. This time, maybe you'd like to take your hips just that little bit off the floor, and then stay here or interlock your fingers with one another, allowing your hips to stay high, and just breathe here for between 5 to 7 deep breaths, staying active through your legs to keep those hips high in the air, making sure that your chest is touching your chin. Slowly release your hands and allow the hips to come back down onto the mat. And this time we're going to turn over to the stomach. So raise your right hand and flip over onto your stomach, bringing your feet maybe hip width apart, or you can bring them close together, whatever is more comfortable. Letting your forearms stay on the floor with your elbows just below your shoulders. Lift yourself up into a half cobra pose, keeping your eyes closed and really feeling a nice stretch in your lower abdomen and a gentle curve in your spine. Stay here and breathe. Maybe you'd want to improve the stretch in your back. So bring your hands close to each other, allowing the chin to rest in the cups of your palms. Your forearms come off the floor this time and your elbows support the head. Going into crocodile relaxation pose, maybe pedaling out your legs one by one, feeling a nice release for your lower back. In a moment, you're going to bring your palms down by your shoulders, push yourself up into a cobra pose and back into a child sleeping pose. So make sure that your knees are tucked beneath you, your hips are rested on your ankles, really separating your knees to mat width and placing your forehead down on the mat, making sure to rest your elbows as well. If you need just a little bit more height beneath your forehead to remain comfortable, then go ahead and fold your forearms one on top of each other, resting your forehead on your folded arms. Feel a nice stretch for your lower spine, your shoulders, and the backs of your arms. Let's now get into a modified version of a thread the needle pose. Just lifting your head and your elbows slightly to look between your hands. Take your right hand and slide it through the gap on the left side, placing your right cheek on the floor. Really raising your left elbow so that you can feel a nice stretch for the left side of your back and waist, and release that right shoulder blade. Stay here, really breathing into the stretch. And now come back to the center, threading your left arm through your right side this time, left cheek on the floor, and really raising your right elbow higher so that you can feel a really deep stretch and release for your left shoulder blade this time. Okay, bring your left hand back as well. We're going to come up and sit in a Vajrasana just for a second. So bring your knees together, feet together, and from here we're going to stretch out the neck slightly. So take your left arm and place it on the right side of your head, allowing your left arm to pull your head slightly towards the left shoulder. Release and repeat on the other side. So we're just using each hand to gently pull the head to that side, releasing and feeling a nice stretch for the side of the neck, maybe even the back of the neck and the tops of your shoulders. So just continue to repeat this. Remember to remain super aware and breathe into your stretch. We're going to stay super gentle here. Let's now go into a simple neck rotation. So bring your chin to the chest, rotate your head over your right shoulder, back over your left shoulder, bringing the chin to the chest. Repeat 2 more times in this direction, and then we'll change the rotation to the other side. Breathing in over the left shoulder, back over the right shoulder, and front as you breathe out. Slowly release, bringing your chin back into its neutral position. Head is neutral. Moving forward, coming into a four-legged position. Wrists beneath the shoulders, knees beneath your hips, and tuck your toes underneath you. Stay super strong through your abdominals. As you breathe in, raise your knees off the floor just by a couple of inches before you push back into a mountain, completely breathing out here. And as you breathe in, come into that raised four-legged dog and then knees on the mat. Let's do that a couple of more times, really activating the core. Breathing in, raise the knees off just by a couple of inches. And as you push back into a mountain, completely breathe out here. And when you want to breathe in, come into that raised four-legged dog and bring the knees on the floor. Let's do that a couple more times. Breathing in, raise your knees. And then push back into a mountain. Breathe out completely. Bring your knees hovering off the floor just by a couple of inches as you breathe in once again, and breathe out, bring the knees onto the mat. Let's do that a few more times just to really activate your core muscles, staying super strong through your upper back and your arms, and making sure to hold in that neutral position, making your knees go off the mat just by a couple of inches so that your shins are parallel to the floor. Okay, now that the core is super warm, let's use that to build some strength. So from here, push yourself back into a mountain once again. Really getting comfortable here. Maybe you'd like to adjust your hands and your feet and pedal out your legs just one by one, improving the flexibility in your calves and your hamstrings. Let's now push forward into a plank. So ripple your spine forward as you breathe in, bringing your shoulders over the tops of your wrists, keeping your hips high and your core super active, and remain here for just a couple more seconds, really breathing into this hold. If you need to adjust yourself, go ahead and do that. For the next pose, we're going to take the right leg straight from plank and bring your right knee between your hands, coming into a pigeon pose. So really sit on the back of your right leg, stretching out the back of the thigh, your right glute, coming onto your fingertips and really pushing your spine back so that you can feel a nice deep contraction in your lower spine. Okay, now let's push back into a plank, a mountain. Stretch out your hamstrings here by pedaling out your legs once again. We're going to come back into a plank. As we breathe in now, and holding here before we bring the left knee this time between the arms. So really use this moment to strengthen your core, and holding in the static plank position, will also help you strengthen your arms. So bring your left leg between your arms this time, coming onto the fingertips, staying upright through your spine and pushing your head and your chest backward just to feel a nice contraction in your lower spine, and stretching out the backs of your left leg this time. Now come back into your plank, push into your mountain, and if you want, you can come back onto your knees and just wriggle your hands up and down to release any tension if you feel it in your wrists. We're going to continue to practice some more plank and mountain, so get ready for that. When you are, come into your four-legged dog, push into a mountain once again. And as you breathe in, come into your plank and really adjust yourself here. Let's modify this a little and come into a side plank this time. So keep your right hand beneath your right shoulder and twist to the side, raising your left hand up towards the ceiling. Your feet just one above each other or one beside each other. Come back into your pigeon pose. Bring your hands by the sides. Right knee comes through your hands, and this time we're going to modify the pigeon as well by bending forward and placing the forehead on top of your stacked arms. So really allow this time to stretch out the back of your right glutes and make sure that your hips are parallel to the floor, not sinking on either side. Okay, come back up, push into a plank, a mountain, and you guessed it, we're going to do that on the other side as well. So come into your plank this time, raising your right hand up to the ceiling so your left hand remains on the floor beneath your shoulders, and look up at the ceiling or in front of you, making sure to keep your balance here. We're only here for about 10 seconds, so really use this time to strengthen your waistline and your arms. Now come into your pigeon once again, this time with your left knee between your arms, and fold yourself forward, placing your forehead on your forearms and making sure that your hips are level to the ground. Maybe you'd need to push your weight towards the right side just to keep your balance and keep those hips parallel to the floor. Breathing into the stretch in your left glutes. Okay, push yourself up into a plank, come back into a mountain. Now that we've done a mountain and a plank, we're going to use this time to really ripple the spine between mountain and plank position. So if you need to, come back down onto your knees and rest your arms, wriggle out your wrists if you need to, before you push yourself into a mountain once again. We're going to move into a spinal wave. So using the mountain and plank to move dynamically between the two poses. So from your mountain, come into your plank, then bend your knees, look between your hands, almost coming into that hovering position with your knees off the floor in a four-legged dog, and then push your weight back towards your hips and straighten out your legs, coming back into that mountain. Move forward once again, plank. Bring your knees close to the floor, four-legged hovering dog, and then come into your mountain position. So we're going to really move between two positions, the plank and the mountain, wriggling your spine forward, coming into plank, bending your knees, coming into that hovering four-leg position, and then pushing into the plank. So you create a nice spinal wave between the lower and the upper back, moving between these positions dynamically. So keep going, really trying to make your back more and more fluid with each round, and using the positions in between to really build strength and stretch out the backs of your legs. Okay, when you're done, come back into a Vajrasana. We're going to stretch out the hips and the legs just a little bit more to finish off class with. So use the length of your mat, and if you can, spread your legs onto the length of your mat so that your left heel is on the left front corner of your mat, right heel at the right front corner, staying here upright through the spine. Bring your hands in front of you, come onto your fingertips, raise your right hand and place it just behind your back so that you can really stay upright through the back. Maybe you'd like to stretch out your left elbow as well if that's possible, and gently twist and look over your right shoulder, just holding here for a couple more seconds, making sure to point your toes towards the head so that you can remain active through your legs. That way your spine will remain super straight. Raise your right hand up, bring it back to the front. This time taking your left hand up, place it behind you, maybe come onto your left fingertips. Look over your left shoulder, just gently twisting to the left side. Maybe straightening out your right arm if you can, pointing your toes towards the head so that you can remain active through your legs. We're going to use this activeness in your legs to really stretch out in our next pose. So bring your hands back. This time we're going to bend the right knee so that you can bring the heel close to your lower body, and make sure to point your left toes and take a few moments to get comfortable here. We're going to come into a bit of a twist and stretch. So what you're going to do is take your right hand by the line of your right hip, so next to your right hip, and place your left hand on top of your right knee, twisting your head towards the right shoulder. Breathe in as you raise your hand up towards the ceiling and hold here for just a couple of seconds and point, and use this time to really get active on your left leg this time, because we're going to bend towards the left side. When you're ready, try to bring your left shoulder close to your left knee, and once that happens, you can bend your hand so that your hand comes close to your left toe. Make sure to only bend as much as you can, such that your right knee is not going off the floor, and you can stay comfortable in this position, so you do not have to hold your left toe. The goal here is to try to bring the left shoulder as close to the left knee as possible without compromising the quality of the posture. Okay, now let's take the right hand up towards the ceiling, bring the shoulder off the left knee, and we're going to switch the sides. So this time, what you're going to do is bring the right leg back to the front line of the mat where it was. Make sure that you keep your spine upright, and then bring your left heel close to your lower body, bending the left knee this time. Now take your left hand by the side of your left hip, twist to the left, bringing your right arm on top of your left knee this time. Breathing in as you take your left arm up, look up at the ceiling, hold here and point your right toes as best you can towards the head. And when you're ready, slowly bring your right shoulder this time close to your right knee or the top of your right thigh. When you feel your shoulder or the side of your right arm touch your upper thigh, then go ahead and bring your left hand close to the top of your toes. Remember, you do not have to touch your toes. You only have to bend as far as you're comfortable without compromising on the quality of your pose. If you are able to touch your toes like I am, then really twist the spine, trying to use this chance to look up at the ceiling, feeling a nice deep stretch for the sides and for the right leg. Okay, that was a quick little stretch for each side. So come back up when you're done. This time we're going to bend forward and try to come into a pancake position. So make sure your feet are pointed towards you. We're going to use this time to forward fold as best we can. So really working from the hips and the flexibility in the hamstrings. Place your palms in front of you and you're just going to walk your palms out so that you can bring the elbows down onto the floor. Your forearms are on the floor, pointing your toes once again towards the head. The pointing of the toes here is so important because it allows you to remain active through your legs and your hips, and making sure to use the spine to fold forward instead of letting your legs flop to the side. If you can bring your forearms up so that you rest your chin in the cups of your palms like we did in a crocodile relaxation pose. So this is all we're going to try to attempt, if that's how much we're comfortable with. But if you want to improve your flexibility and you feel this posture is fairly easy for you, then of course you can go ahead and bend further down, walking your hands out further if you like, trying to bring your chin to the floor. This way your shoulders will remain super flat. You can take your hands by the side so that you touch your toes or the sides of your feet, bringing the chin to the floor so that your chest remains in contact with the floor. This is the deepest version of this stretch, so remember to only come here if you're feeling really confident in your flexibility today. For me, it was just a short hold to remind myself what the stretch feels like. Okay, from here, let's just bounce out the knees and really release any tension in the hips from those stretches. So bring the soles of your feet together, holding your feet or placing your hands in front of you, really bouncing your knees up and down in this nice butterfly stretch. Go ahead and stay here for around 20 to 30 bounces. But that's going to be all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this quick 30-minute yoga flow, which had a little bit more to do with your abdominal strength, upper body strength, and the flexibility in the legs. If you like this video, please give it a like down below and let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and make sure to send this to a friend or family member you think may find it helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.